everybody, Nikki White here, and today I'm going to introduce you to the latest member of the family, Mr. Bob Custard. Say hi! So, I'm here to tell you the story of junior beat reporter Bob Custard, Custard for short, where he came from, how he got here. He's eating treats. Before I get started, this shirt, how cute. So, if you guys follow me on Instagram, on my Glitterbones account or my personal account, then you've seen that my poor baby boy Coco passed away. He was 17 years old. Losing him left a big hole in my heart, and I didn't know when I'd be getting another cat. I just knew, of course, I wanted another one. And so we ended up getting Custard way before I thought I was gonna get another cat, but here are the events that led up to his adoption. So I already follow a bunch of animal rescue organizations on my Instagram. I have, even while I had Coco, just to see what they're up to and if I can support them in some way. And one thing led to another, looking at cats that were available for adoption, and I ended up finding a new organization called Don't Furry, Be Happy. So when I looked at their page, they were a bit different than the local shelters, because what they do is they bring over cats, dogs, and small animals from Egypt, where the animals have a higher chance of being treated poorly. So what they do is they have a shelter in Egypt bring the cats, dogs over to Canada, and you pick them up from the airport. So I saw this and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I'm like looking at some of the cats they have available, and I see some that are cute, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to commit to an animal that is coming over from Egypt if I haven't met them, or like I don't really know too much about them, but I'm gonna follow their Instagram. So I followed their Instagram, and I remember that there was a couple cats that I liked on their website. Literally, I see that a day before I followed them that they had brought over 14 cats from Egypt. And this isn't something they normally do. Usually you have to commit to the animal and then they fly them over and you meet them at the airport, you pick them up, happily ever after. But in this case, they brought 14 cats over to Canada. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Custard. So they brought over the 14, and I'm like looking at the video, and I see that the 2 cats I was looking at that were in the shelter in Egypt are now in the country. So I'm like, okay. So that kind of changed things, because now I know that they're in Canada, they're going to be fostered or they're being adopted out, and if they're being fostered, I can learn a little more about them. So I reached out to Don't Furry, Be Happy, and I spoke with Danya, who is the owner of the organization, and I'm like, hey, I took a look at Bob and Sugar. She let me know that Sugar had an adoption pending, but Bob was available. And she'd also posted pictures of Bob, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so cute. But he looked a lot different from his picture at the shelter, and I'm like, okay, damn, Bob got a glow up, all right. So one thing led to another. I saw his little furry face on Instagram. I asked about him. They said he was super chill, he's super friendly, affectionate, and these are all things that like I need in a cat, because it's what I'm used to from Coco. Coco was the most calm, loving, patient, adorable cat ever. She sent me videos and pictures, and you can see him like purring and rubbing up against her, and I'm like, so the next step is you apply for the animal that you're interested in on their website, and then you set up an interview. And since everything is remote right now, you just set up a phone interview, video interview, and I interviewed for Bob. And I already had experience with cats. I don't have kids, I don't have any other pets, so they did prefer if you went to a home with other cats. So that, I mean, maybe I get him a friend in the future. I had the interview, it went well, and then it was time to decide when I was gonna pick up the little guy. I personally wanted to wait a month because I am working a freelance gig, but in the office, so usually I'm home, and I was like, oh, well, if I can wait a month, then I'll be home with him all the time instead of me and my boyfriend being out. But he needed to get adopted because the owner was going to be going on vacation. So it all kind of happens sooner than later. And the adoption fee for cats is generally around $400. And when they fly them over from Egypt, they have all their shots. They have like a little passport and all that jazz. Basically a week after interviewing, I picked up the little dude. So we drove up to where he was being fostered, picked him up, brought him home, and in person, he looks a lot more like Coco than I thought. In the pictures, you could tell he was kind of similar colored, but the face was quite different, and the color didn't look as exact and like his fur didn't look as close, but then in person I was like, oh, come on. If you guys know Pokemon, you know the Ditto that turns into whatever Pokemon it is trying to imitate? That is what Custard is. He looks like Coco, but with the dumb Ditto little face. But yes, the main difference between Custard and Coco physically is just the face. So he's got the derpy little Ditto like face, and Coco had a very like handsome, I don't know, chiseled, if that's the word, manly face. But he is very affectionate. He is a bit skittish sometimes, not, I wouldn't say he's like a skittish cat, but sometimes I think because everything is so new to him, if he hears a loud noise or we walk into a room and make noise, he's like, oh, but then he's like, oh wait, we're cool, we're cool, we're cool. And I think that just comes from being a street cat in Egypt. And he was very tentative to like jump up on the bed or the couch and stuff like that at first, until we're like, no, it's okay, buddy. So I'm not too sure if he would maybe jump up on things and people would like swat him away, but he is super friendly and loving for being a street cat. He has only been here for a week when I'm shooting this anyway, and things are going well. I'm gonna bring him to the vet next week. If you're ready for the plot twist of this story. So, as I mentioned, when I saw Bob on Instagram, I was like, damn, Bob got a glow up. Like, he doesn't look like his pictures in Egypt. And so really, I didn't even reach out to them until I had seen his picture on Instagram. And I'm like, okay, this cat is in the country. He's cute. I'm interested. I'm going to reach out. The picture of Bob in Egypt was just kind of like the catalyst to get the whole process going and me finding out the organization. So I get Bob Custard, and I find out that the shelter actually mixed up in Egypt. So they mixed up the original Bob with this guy, and he's actually Jax, but they thought he was Bob, so they gave him all of his shots and stuff, gave him his little passport that said Bob, and sent him over, and the real Bob is still in Egypt. I mean, everything worked out because I wanted him. He's the guy I saw on Instagram, but I feel so bad for the real Bob. The real Bob was kind of like the same color, but like scraggly, and looked like, you know, he looked like he'd been on the streets, and he'd been through it. And he was cute too in his own little rough way. So I don't know, like, should I get the other Bob? If he's available, I feel like it's too soon right now, but I feel like in a couple months, if the other Bob, the real Bob, with 2 B's, by the way, B-O-B-B, if he's still available, I don't know, I might adopt him, or just in general get another cat for him. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I get the real Bob with 2 B's? I just feel like if things are going well with my freelance and my store, I can comfortably afford to have both cats in case there are any medical issues. I could give another little guy a home and then give this guy a friend. And his meows are so sucky and like little compared to Coco, who was like, "Meh." This guy's like, y'all are looking at the new social media intern for Glitterbond's Boutique. Mr. Custard wants to go continue licking himself. He's got a very busy day of licking himself. I don't know. Should we continue the Bob saga? Should we have 2 Bobs? Bob with 2 B's? Okay, see you, bye!